All right, once again, happy Monday, everyone. Thanks for joining me this evening. It's really hard to believe that this is the last Monday session that we're going to have for CRP. It's kind of crazy, but bittersweet at the same time. You all have worked so hard and should be proud of your progression thus far. I know that you might be missing the supermoon to be here. Hopefully it is still there. It's very cloudy here in the Sunshine State, ironically. So I haven't seen anything yet, but I'm looking forward to the visuals from all over the world. Supposedly it's this huge supermoon that hasn't happened in 75 years, and it's the closest that the moon has ever been to the Earth. So I think that's pretty cool. It's kind of a phenomenon. And how cool is it that it's happening your home stretch, your final week here at CRP? So to get things started, because we haven't done this in a while, and I'm gonna count down from 3 and let you guys say hello to each other. So in 3, 2, 1. Hi everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Yay! I hear you guys loud and clear. Cool. All right, so tonight's session isn't going to be that long. We've already gone over so much of what Nancy has provided for us this entire month. We've had great conversations. The discussion boards are just amazing. Again, those of you that didn't come to this session or posted to the board after our last session last week, I just want to thank you all for being so supportive to your classmates. The last discussion board wasn't even graded, or it did not have any weight, but it was really awesome to see how much you guys care about each other and how much you offer, how much information that you offer to each other to give each other best practices and places to go to just make an incredible final presentation. So on that note, the rough drafts were due, or the first draft, excuse me, was due last night, and I have started looking at them and provided some feedback. Again, it does take me a while to get through all the presentations, so I would be superwoman if I got all 3 sections graded in one day. However, I haven't found that power yet. So in the next few days, you'll see feedback from me for the rough drafts. Most likely, grades will be in by tomorrow evening. But again, I do take some time. It takes some time to go through all the presentations and provide you with really strong feedback to help you move forward and finish this class awesome this week. And excuse me, my throat is a little dry today, so I apologize for sounding like, I don't know, a little kid. I apologize for that. But I want to commend you guys for making it this far. I am in love with your ideas. There's so many of you that want to give back, and I think it's so beautiful, and I really hope that you will keep this close to your heart And as you progress through this program and you develop more skills and you encounter more people and you build relationships, I would love to hear that many of these ideas are coming into fruition. I just, it's awesome. I love it. Okay, so before we get into any of the new stuff, I just want to reiterate some things that I was noticing because a few of you over these sections are having trouble with uploading to the platform. And I understand that it is a lot of information. Sometimes my announcements could be overwhelming, and you might be like, "This is too much information, and I don't have time to read it." But it is there for your benefit, and I provide things that maybe we cannot get to within the week, and because I'm not in front of you for 3 days out of the week, if you are on campus, I try to provide as much information I can in other outlets. So when it comes to creating a video for your presentation or using programs that are strictly online, that's your Web 2.0 tools like Powtoon or WeVideo, Emaze, Prezi, stuff like that. Programs that are going to generate a URL. What that means is that the HTML is not downloadable. You cannot download a Powtoon. You can't download a Prezi. It's all in the cloud and it generates a URL. So what you need to do with that is create a document in whatever program that you have available. Not everyone has Word, and that's okay. There are other programs like TextEdit, or even on your Google Drive, you have a document. And all you need to do is fill out that document with your name, your student ID number, and the URL to where you host that file, and upload that document to the platform. That way, it won't give you any problems. You won't have any problems downloading. You won't have any problems with getting errors on the platform. It's something that will save you a lot of headaches. I put these instructions in week 1 when I introduced you guys to the week 1 assignment and gave you an opportunity to use any program that you want. So understand that although we are a technical school and there's so many different programs out there, the freedom is yours in creativity. In whatever programs that you feel comfortable using, we suggest that you use those and seek out an education if you want to learn something different. And that's why lynda.com is so awesome. I can't say enough about it. I cannot. I used it through my entire time through my MFA program. The second one, it wasn't available, the first one. And I used it as an instructor just to be savvy. So know that Lynda is available to you throughout your entire program. So you can utilize that resource anytime you want. And the really cool thing about Lynda is that all of the tutorials are itemized, and if you just want a quick refresher, say you've got how to loop your audio in PowerPoint presentation, you could go right to that section and just watch that part. and understand what to do in your presentation before you submit. So, do we have any questions on uploading video? I take your silence as golden. Cool. Okay, and also the other thing I forgot to mention is if you don't want your presentation public, just make sure you select unlisted, and that when you share the link, you make sure that anyone with the link can view. If it's private, I will not be able to see it, or your instructor going forward won't be able to see it. So make sure that you understand that. And also, a trick is if you are that last minute person, and you do not have to be shy about it. We all have our moments of procrastination and waiting to the last minute. Believe me, I've been there. But one, it gives you unnecessary stress, and there's a way around it. If you go this route and you do a video presentation for whatever assignment, or you use an online program, you can create that document before it stops on uploading to the platform. So if you are uploading your movie file to YouTube, it still generates a link from the very moment that you upload the file to that channel. All you would have to do is copy and paste the link, and even if it hasn't stopped uploading, by the time your instructor opens the assignment the day after, or later that morning, we'll say, it should be uploaded to YouTube. It'll give you peace of mind that you have submitted your assignment, you have a green check, and it will be there in the morning. So that's just a little tip for you guys. And thank you guys for in the chat box for being so truthful. It's important. It's important that you're aware of that and you acknowledge that. It helps you improve. It helps you grow. So thank you for being honest. I appreciate that. Okay. Just a couple of tips as you transfer or move forward from your first draft to your final draft. There are different distractions. There's different types of distractions that you can infuse in your presentations that you're not even aware of. So there's something called credible noise, and this is in your chapters in Resonate. Nancy calls it credible noise. That's making a negative first impression. How could you make a negative first impression? Does anyone want to share how you can make a negative first impression? Any examples?
Being late for an interview.
Oh, being late for an interview. Yeah, that's no bueno. That's something that would definitely have a negative impression. Well, this person can't even make it to the interview on time, right? Absolutely. Okay, Nick, your appearance. Elaborate on that. Showing up in PJs, not dressed for success. Yes. Kayla, it would be such a utopia if we could just show up to the office in our PJs, wouldn't it? Would be amazing. Could you imagine that society's view of success and professionalism was beady pajamas, it would be amazing. Just perspective. Looking stressed. Yes, absolutely. Oh, Josh, where do you work? Where do you work? Tell me you work in like a mattress store, and I'll laugh. Oh, I would too, Kayla. That, like, why not be comfortable? Especially that night shift. For sure. For sure. Oh, in Kohl's, the manufacturing warehouse. I could see that. I could see that. But yes, it's the environment, and that's why knowing your audience is so important. Knowing the company that you're going for, knowing what their atmosphere, their environment's like, you're gonna dress different. Like, I think I used this example before. If I was applying to be the professor of creative presentation at Harvard, it doesn't exist. But for hypothetically, um, it would not be the same interview or the same vibe or same environment as going for the professor of creative presentation at Full Sail. There's a difference. There's a different level of professionalism. There's a different level of appearance and style. So it depends on your environment. Having no common ground. What does that mean? Having no common ground. Oh, I think did I stump you guys? Okay, you can't speak the lingo legitimately. I like that. I like that, Sina. Definitely. Not sharing any interest. Okay, so it's almost like someone that has a PhD in English literature talking to fifth graders and using that intellect when talking to a bunch of fifth graders. There's the disconnect. There's no commonality. There's no room for conversation. Unfortunately, like, this is a blind date going wrong, finding nothing to talk about, nothing in common. So again,
Blinding.
it's relating back to your audience. And I heard someone speak up.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. Did you have something to add?
No. It was really funny about the blind dates going wrong. What's
Oh,
that?
yes. Yes. Has anyone here been on a blind date before?
Nope.
No, no one has. I'd be
No.
scared. uh, Journey, you have a good experience or bad experience? Oh, Shia too. So I'm not the only one. Um,
Hey, can you hear me?
it's a little awkward being set up, I guess. It was a long time ago, but it's very scary. It's very scary because you don't know what you're gonna get into. It's not someone that you pursued yourself. It's not someone that you observed maybe or listened to and had this idea that you were compatible. It's putting that power in someone else's hands and the getting together and trying to find that happy medium.
That's
Cheyenne,
why I
so
didn't
sorry.
let my friends set me up when I was younger.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But
Yeah.
you want to find that commonality, and sometimes it takes listening. Just listening to the other side or listening to your audience, where you find that place where you can adjust. Imbalance and emotion. If your audience is happy-go-lucky, this energetic vibe, and you come in solemn, there may be a disconnect. So it's really understanding what your environment or what you're walking into. Our journey, yeah, I could attest to that. Yeah, really, really enjoying the adventure of the feeling and not knowing. Sometimes that's really exciting, and it gives you the opportunity to explore. But you gotta get past that first step. And then credibility is not established. Remember back in week 1 when we were talking about the audience being the hero and ways that you can connect with your audience. If credibility is not established, especially right off the bat, your audience is going to find it hard to trust you. So you have to make sure that your credibility is established. And part of establishing credibility is showing, not telling. So what I'm finding still, and this is not a bad thing, it's something that is supposed to happen and you're supposed to evolve as you go on. But what I'm noticing, even in the first drafts, is that there is a lot of, I'm creative, I'm motivated, I'm dedicated, I'm this, I'm that. It's one thing to say that, it's another to say it with your passion, and that's cool, but it's stronger when you show it. And you could show it by personal anecdotes or examples uh, of of being creative and creating something that captivated others, or you know it's being in your element and showing your element, showing you in your element of doing what you do. So you could say that I'm passionate, but what is going to make me, as either your future employer or your investor or a member of the audience that is going to join your mission, is invite me into your story, show me your passion. The most effective presentations that I've seen is that the speaker invites their audience into their studio or into um, behind the lens of their GoPro, or into their their creative environment, and they're showcasing just how passionate they are, and you could see it through their gestures and how excited they are when they're listening to their beat and they're finding that way to chime in. And it's making it's inviting your audience on that journey and establishing that credibility. Makes sense?
Yeah. I do have a question though.
Sure.
Uh, wouldn't it be about timing and besides the picture that's worth 1,000 words?
Okay. Oh, do you mean in terms of flow?
Yeah, kind of like that. Establishing credibility with your audience.
Well, yes, it goes back to, do you remember the analogy that I shared with you, I think in week 2? That you guys, in essence, you're the GPS system. and you're typing in the coordinates, and you're taking your audience on this ride. So cadence and timing, absolutely, all these things come into factor. It also, what you were talking about with the picture is worth 1,000 words. There could
Yeah.
be a disconnect if you are talking about how cute puppies are, and the screen behind you has a bunch of kittens. It may be a disconnect. So yes, timing, um, the way that you are choosing the images to complement your story. If you are speeding through maybe a segment, catching yourself and slowing down a little bit, making sure that your audience is registering what you're saying. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, experiential noise. The presentation is too long. For your first drafts, I told you guys to get rid of all your reservations and all your stress about making your first draft perfect. Your first draft is not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be offered as a way to allow your classmates, to allow myself, to allow people that you live with, your significant other, your friends, to view it and be open to that feedback to help you grow, both professionally and personally. So I know that there's the time limit. It's 3 minutes minimum and 4 minutes maximum. So if your presentation is too long, you could be going off on tangents, and there's a disconnect that there's no clarity, or there is no uh, clear direction in where your presentation is going. If it's going on way too long, that means that there is not closure, or there isn't an end in sight. It's going in different directions and starting to veer away from its purpose. So this is not to be harsh, but there is a purpose for a maximum time limit. It's to get you guys in the habit of this whole process. So starting from week 1, when you were asked to be the people that observe, and then week 2, you start digging into the planning process and receiving feedback on the plans, and then focusing on a more solid direction for your first draft, and now getting a new set of feedback to improve even further. It's giving you these skills that you need in order to be aware of all these things, be able to view your presentation and understand that you may or may not need all the different anecdotes in your presentation. You may not need the description of certain things, and you can say the same thing in one sentence that you've said in an entire minute. So it's giving you clarity. It's giving you the skills to edit and redo. And this is part of the process. So, especially when it comes to the final draft, if it's going over 4 minutes, I stop listening at 4.5 minutes. So if it goes beyond that and you haven't met the requirements, I'm sorry, but the presentation's going too long, and you haven't refined or edited your presentation in order to adhere to those time limits. It's not there to scare you. It doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that it's more of a work in progress, and you have to practice the planning process and be able to make yourself a little bit more open to editing things and taking out things. I know that once you start pouring out your passion and once you start talking from your heart, it could go on forever. You almost get lost in your own story. But know that the act of you getting lost in your own story means that your audience is going to get lost in the story. So practice refining and look and work on a clear direction. And Kiva, that's okay. It's okay. What's gonna happen is that I look at your first draft, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to guide you, and I'm here to give you tips. Okay, well, I could see where you were going with this, but you say the same thing in the first story that you told. So why not just go with the first story? And I will let you know of things that you may be repetitive or unnecessary, things that don't connect to the purpose or connect to your why. So please don't be stressed out about that. It's supposed to happen in your first drafts. And Justin, no worries with that either. That's why we go through this process. It's to help you practice and find your niche. And if you're like me, that hates her voice, I can't begin to tell you how many times I record myself. And it's funny because I do these sessions quote unquote live, and there is no room for me to go back and edit. It's just raw, and it's our conversation. It is what it is, and I upload that to my YouTube channel. But when it comes to my presentations, I record and re-record so many times. I don't wish that on you. I hope that you'll find a happy medium and you won't have to record yourself several times. But you're talking to someone that records her voicemail for her smartphone about 25 times before I give up and say, okay, whatever, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Don't worry about that. Okay, Cinna says, in a way, it's kind of cool to experience just how challenging it actually is to present well. It really is, and I'm so happy to hear you say that. I really am. I think it's a great learning experience for us all, because in actuality, we present all the time. And you guys are going into the entertainment industry. The whole thing is about selling yourself and your craft and your skills and showing what you're made of, sharing your creativity and your vision, and making sure or that it spreads like wildfire and it's infectious, and you're touching other people and you're building relationships. So communication is the most important thing when it comes to this industry, especially. So knowing and finding your comfort zone and being able to channel that energy that you have when you talk to people that you're comfortable with. It's invigorating and it's motivating. It's positive. It fills your soul. So it's so important, and I love that you brought that up. Um, And now I'm getting on a tangent, so let me bring this back in. Another example would be distracting body language. So, a quick story. I know that I'm Italian. I know this about myself. I know that I'm also from New York. And I know that my cadence could be a little quick. I also know that I talk with my hands a lot, a lot. And it could be stereotypical, but I'm owning up to it. I come from a big Italian family. You wouldn't know that from my married name, but my maiden name ends in a vowel. And but I wasn't aware of how exaggerated it really was. And it wasn't until I went for mid-national boards in education and had to record myself teaching my class that I found this out about myself. And that is why it's so important to have this practice and be able to step outside and reflect on yourself. But I watched the first recording of one of my classes. I'm like, oh my goodness, my arms just fly all over the place. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. It's like it's something innate inside of me that I talk with my hands, but I had no idea how exaggerated it was, and it could be very distracting to your audience if you don't control it. Of course, being underprepared, you absolutely do not want to go into an important meeting such as getting hired or possibly getting investors or possibly creating this creative team. You don't want to be underprepared. You are the mentor. You're giving out knowledge. You're sharing knowledge. Their ears and their eyes are open to you and want to take something away. So make sure that you're prepared. Daniel, I think we're very close in one, having big families, two, being loud, and three, talking with our hands. I get it. I'm with you 100%. Okay, systematic noise is the last leg of this, and it's using too much jargon. And this doesn't have to be slang, although slang could be very distracting, especially when you are talking to an audience that isn't in your inner circle. I usually allude this to, and I think I shared this example with you, that you're in an office environment and there's a new girl that comes into the office. And you decide that you want to be nice, you want to welcome this new girl into the office. And this could be on the other side too. This could be with males also. And you invite this girl to have some drinks with your girls. Now, both girls and guys, when you have your circle, you have this unspoken language with each other, meaning that you could look at each other without saying a word and know exactly what the other person is saying. However, when someone new is coming into the mix, they could feel very left out because they do not understand your language. And there might be this inner circle joke that they don't get because it's an inner circle joke. So using too much jargon is much like the same. You isolate your audience, you make them feel disconnected from you if you do. It also can make you sound very condescending as the mentor. If you are using $50 billion words to an audience that doesn't know rocket science, it is going to disconnect. It's going to make your audience feel like they are less than you and not feel invited and not feel safe and not feel trusted. They're going to feel like you're talking down to them. So just be careful with that. Another thing that happens way often, and I am not, as I just used it right then, I am not exception to this rule. This happens all the time. Don't worry, Senna, it's okay. This happens all the time. And it's because words like like, they come out very easy in conversation. So on one hand, I'm very easy when it comes to your first draft. This is practice. And the fact that you are getting into a groove and you're comfortable enough that you are practicing your flow as if it is conversation is a big deal, because that cadence is necessary to get your story across and have your audience feel like they are part of the presentation. All I ask is that you're aware of this. You're aware of how many times that you use or like, and try to work on making them less. And it comes with practice. It comes with time and practice. Over time, these words will slowly disappear. At the very start, are they going to come out? Of course they're going to come out. Am I going to address them as such? Of course I'm going to address them as such. All I'm asking at this point is that you're aware. Cool?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay, there's always room for improvement. This photograph is actually a real photograph, and it's from a camp called Camp Failure. Now, who wants to sign up for Camp Failure? Yes, it exists. And what is really great about this organization is that it is people that have taken the risk but have failed. And it's a lot of team building, it's a lot of ego healing, it's a lot of trust building, and showing everyone that failure is not the end. It's an opportunity to move forward. It's not the end-all be-all to stifle you for following your dreams. It's an opportunity to grow. there's a really nice message behind that. And that's, in essence, that's what we're all here for. We're all here to support each other, give each other advice, share experiences, and be open-minded to it. Know that it's for your it's for in your best interest. So, and we'll go through this fairly quickly, but going forward, giving and receiving feedback work simultaneously together, and you can't grow without accepting the other. And I'll explain what I mean. We are creatures of human nature. And as humans in human nature, we're very defensive people. And sometimes we're aware of it, we're conscious, and sometimes we're not conscious of it. It's something innate that is inside of us. That the first thing we do is react instead of listen and then take action. In my opinion, it's what's wrong with this society, but that could be another lecture. But how to receive feedback is cultivating a growth mindset. It's opening up your mind, knowing that, hey, these people, one, they're taking their time to look at my presentation or read my post or read my article. They're actually taking the time to do that. So one, that shows me they care. And a person that cares that much to read and take the time to respond is not someone that is looking to destroy me. And that's just it's an open-minded view that although it might not be what I want to hear or what I need to hear at the moment, it's an objective perspective, and they're taking the time to give me some tips based on their experiences, based on their observations, and it's up to me to soak it in and use what I need to use. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. There I go. I used that word again. Take credit for your mistakes. How many of you have that person in your life that blames everybody else?
I do.
Okay. And everyone else is following suit. It seems like we all do. I think we all do. Yes, Nick, I agree. So what that means is own it. Own up to your mistakes. Own up to the fact that you may have missed something, or you may have misspelled a word, or you may have placed an image in the wrong place, or you may have used an ugly color for your background. Own up to your choices is what that means. It's going to help you. It'll help you grow. I like that, Justin. Yes, always be coachable. Absolutely. And it's a way to focus on your own self-improvement. It's a way for you to take everything into accountability and reflect on your own journey. Like, okay, that's a pretty solid observation. And now I need to take that information and reflect on what I'm doing. Absolutely, Kayla. And Kayla says we have to be able to take criticism, especially in the careers that we're looking into going into. This industry it's unforgiving. It really is. And you have to have a thick skin. You have to have a thick skin. You have to understand that there have been people in this game for a long time, and they're looking for, well, what do you have to give me? What do you have to give? What's new and fresh? Are you a problem solver, or are you a problem maker, complainer? So and sometimes it's a test. It's a test to see how well you take their advice or their feedback or criticism. I hate the word criticism. I like feedback better. It's a test to see how well you receive what they're giving out. And I'm not saying that. Well, more so on how to give feedback. So, how to give feedback is, I'm not saying that you have to be the Paul Abdul and sugarcoat everything, but you do not have to be the Simon Cowell either. You could be the Randy Jackson and find that happy medium. The first thing is creating safety and establishing that relationship with that person. So, all of you have been doing this since the beginning of this entire class without even knowing it. But on the discussion boards, this is what you're doing. You are providing feedback, you're providing insight, you're creating a safe environment for a conversation, you are building relationships. And creating safety is very simple. The first thing that you should do to create safety and build that relationship is address the person by name. That's all you have to do. Now you establish that you, one, acknowledge that person, and two, you're taking the time to read over their post or look at their presentation and take careful care to address you by name. So, very simple. Hello, Kayla. And now you're addressing the person. So I agree the RISE model is fantastic. Just because it is challenging you guys to think bigger. So not just giving those blanket statements. That's awesome. Now, who doesn't want to hear that their presentation is awesome? I know everybody here would love that feedback. That's awesome. But it goes away in 2 seconds. Because now you're thinking, okay, what's awesome? What do they like about it? It turns into a very superficial statement, and you want to go beyond. And the RISE model challenges you to do that. It challenges you to pick out something that inspired you or sparked your interest or got you to question or think, sparked more, further conversation. So absolutely, and I hope you guys take that with you as you progress through the program. Be positive. Of course, this isn't the easiest thing in the world to do. And I totally understand that. You're talking to an educator. It's not the easiest thing in the world to find something positive, especially if the other side isn't giving you much to comment on. But it's okay. There is always something to lift other people up, and you want to encourage, not discourage. So being positive and starting out on a positive note is a great way to start the conversation. It establishes that you're not a threat, and you're there to genuinely take care into the other person's growth. Stina, that is a good question. I'm not 100% sure. What I recommend for you to do is to download the PDF and save it to your desktop. So I'm not 100% sure that that'll show up in your other classes, but you can absolutely save it. And Justin, I agree. I couldn't have said that better myself. Being positive takes more work, but it has better rewards. Absolutely. And you want to be specific. So could you imagine that I gave you your feedback for your plans and I said, "Good job, Justin. That was great. Keep it up." Or, that was terrible. Period. Does that give you anything to work with? Does that give you any direction on where to go from there? None at all.
Not at all.
Absolutely not. So you want to be specific. If something is out of place, tell them where it's out of place. If something doesn't add up right, or it needs some, like, say a statement needs support or elaboration, then tell them where exactly that is. Be immediate. So could you imagine that I watched your presentations and then I went to go watch an episode of The Walking Dead, and then I came back to give you your feedback? What would happen?
We wouldn't know what you were thinking, probably.
Would I know what I was thinking? Could I even remember anything after zombies were eating people's intestines? Do you think I would remember anything about your presentation?
Yeah, you wouldn't know anything. You'd be so distracted. It would be very confusing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Josh, I stand with you. I'm not going to say it out loud just in case it's a spoiler. But yes, I stand with both you and Nick in solidarity. And lastly, provide tough love. And I know that the truth hurts sometimes. Believe me, the truth hurts. But we need it. We need it. One of my best friends, I love her so much because if something's not right with my outfit, she will tell me. And she will tell me to go back and change. And that's just the fact. She'll tell me if I have a booger in my nose, or, like I have toilet paper on my shoe. And that's why I love her, because she's true. She won't let me fall. She's giving me the truth because she wants me to succeed in life and not walk around with toilet paper stuck in my shoe. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Before we leave this evening, I just wanted to go over a newer assignment for week 4. And it goes along the lines of what we were talking about. It's really practicing in yes, Journey. It really is a good accountability partner. Absolutely. And I recommend that for everybody in the class. I really do. You should totally have an accountability partner in your life. Someone that will kick your ass if you don't do what you're supposed to do. Okay, so here is the new assignment. And it's very self-explanatory. It's very painless, and it's designed in a way for you guys to notice things when you are watching presentations. Now, these are presentations from past students, and it's giving you the opportunity to provide feedback and really get into habit about applying and giving feedback. It also gives you some insight to maybe things that you aren't aware of about your own presentations. And it opens your eyes to certain things that you might not even think of. And it gives you this mindset of going back into your presentations uh, with this new awareness and making tweaks to your own presentations. So it's very painless in the fact that right in the instructions, there are 3 presentations. In the instructions, we recommend that you watch all 3. And then we ask that you choose one out of the 3 to provide feedback. And of course, like all other assignments, it has the guided questions just to give you food for thought on what you should be incorporating in your analysis. And hold on, I just have to move my control panel. There we go. Okay, so step 1 is just that. Watch all the presentations, then choose one of them. Step 2 is creating a document, almost very similar to what you did for the TED analysis, and using those guided questions as a guide. Now, it's not required that you use images. However, you might want to just get in the habit of choosing visuals that complement what you say. And then step 3, and please do not forget step 3. It is now analyzing and reflecting on how pretty much how important or how helpful feedback has been for you throughout this entire program or process. And then all you do is name that file correctly and submit that document to FSO, and you are done.
So, when we're doing the Word document, we can use Word, Excel, Word or Excel, right?
You could use Excel in a way that Excel is pretty easy to build cells and drag and drop images, so you can definitely use Excel if that works for you. Word is just as good, and if you guys don't have those programs, Google Drive is fantastic because it has all those programs as if you had Microsoft Office. It has a Word document uh, program in there. It has Google Slides that works like PowerPoint, and it has a similar Excel program in there. It's called Google Sheets, I believe. And the only thing that is different is that Google Drive is online and it generates a URL. So if you use that, all you would have to do is create that document, share the URL, and upload that to the platform.
Okay. I think I got it now.
Awesome.
So, another thing, I'm sorry to interrupt, are you wanting an essay or a slideshow or what?
For what assignment?
Uh, um, the instructions that you just gave us, that you just showed us on the overhead.
Oh, it doesn't have to be fancy at all. It could just be a Word document with make sure that you have the link to the presentation that you watched, your feedback and analysis, and then step 3 is the reflection piece on how feedback has either helped you or not helped you throughout this month.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. And,
So nothing fancy. It doesn't have to be fancy.
okay, so the URL would be on the final presentation links that you put up there, correct?
Are you talking about the final presentation?
Yeah, the final presentations from the past students that we're giving feedback on.
Oh, okay. Now I understand your question. Sorry about that. If you go to the assignment, and I can show you that, right? Let me see. I just had it up. Um, there it is. Okay. If you go into the assignment, which it'll look like this.
Yeah.
Once you click onto the assignment, you go to the instructions PDF, and this will pop up, and it is the second sheet, and all the links are right in the instruction. You see that?
Yeah, I see it. So how do you want us to, do you want us to copy and paste the past presentation links from the students with our Word document?
You know what? All I'll require is tell me that you're doing link 1. So you're doing the student's final presentation link 1, just so I know that that's what.
Oh, okay. But you have to name it correctly.
Absolutely. So
Gotcha.
when you do create your document, um, and I could demonstrate that. So when you create your document, you'll have your name. So student's name. Oops. Oh, and then you'll have the analysis. Link to, limitation. So whatever number, oops, I'm not spelling correctly.
We know what you mean, though.
Doing this too fast. As limitation. Okay. And come on. This will be step 2. Step 3. And then when all said and done, after you wrote your analysis out, just go up to save as, and then it's your last name underscore first name and assignment number. And that's it.
Okay, I gotcha.
Cool. Is there any other questions? Awesome. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to bring up before we end the session is I put out a form. I know that in our last session, some of you expressed that you wanted to challenge yourself and present live in a go-to session. Some of you have already signed up for Thursday, and I wanted to ask anyone that is in the room currently, are you signed up for Thursday to present? Just so I can get a feel.
I did.
Okay. So are you presenting?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. Since there was a little confusion, is I will, as always, I will upload this recording to my YouTube channel, and I will generate an announcement that will come out tomorrow morning. What I would encourage you guys to do is, if you are interested in presenting on Thursday, please email me, and I'll put my email address in the chat box. Email me directly instead of messaging me with your interest. And Daniel, that's okay. It's okay if you don't want to present. It's cool if you want to be there to observe. Nick, that is what we usually have our sessions on Thursday from 11 to 1. However, if you need a later time and you really want to present live, it might only be for my ears, but email me and let me know. Kayla, that just means that you care. That means that you care about your success and your delivery. Butterflies are good. They're beautiful. Okay, so I will go ahead and make sure that this is uploaded. Most likely you'll get everything by tomorrow morning. I'll generate an announcement and send it to your email as always with all the instructions. I promised you guys that I will share my craft with you. I write, so I pretty much have a poem that I wrote for my students to, it's my way of giving my last words of wisdom and motivation as you move forward. So I look forward to seeing you all there on Thursday. Thank you so much for coming out on Monday night and sharing this evening with me. It's going to be bittersweet. I am going to miss you guys. This really was a great group of students, and I look forward to us keeping in touch and seeing what you guys have to offer throughout this entire journey that you're on. I see a couple of questions. Mark said, I had to step away. Is that the final video that's going to be presented? Mark, do you mean on Thursday? Yes, that's the final one. I know it's hard to believe that this month is over. It's really hard. But I know you guys are going to do great things. I'm looking forward to viewing the rest of the first drafts. You guys should be seeing feedback from me probably at the latest tomorrow evening. I will try my best to have them all done, but don't get nervous. Don't get nervous because I take my time. You guys are too sweet. Thank you so much for your kind words. You guys are dope. You make my job worthwhile and rewarding, and you're the reason why I get up and do this. So thank you. And with that said, go out on this beautiful evening. Maybe you'll catch a glimpse of that supermoon. And if you guys need me, I'll be online as of 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. You could hit me up on messages, call me, or send me an email. Awesome. Have a great night, everyone.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.